this silly mistake at your back. Make sure you mark this as the wrong side, which means right side are inside, right side facing each other. So after making this as your bad side, mark this one also as your bad side. This has already shown that it is your bad side. But if you are working with fabric where you could not find you hardly find your back from your front, or you hardly differentiate your back from your front, you need to mark your fabric so you don't get confused when sewing. So that aside, so after doing that, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to place it like this, and I am going to sew from this end to this end, and I'm going to turn it and top stitch at my lining part. You should know about top stitching before now, because I've been showing you several videos on how to top stitch. So go ahead to sew it, then top stitch at your lining. I'm also going to do the same thing as the down parts of your skirt. I'm also going to do the same thing for my back. So let me go ahead to do all of that, then come back, because I want to make sure I rush this and make it detailed for you to understand. So let me go ahead to do that and come back. Okay, so I have gone ahead to sew the downside, and I went on to top stitch it. So this is what it looks like after top stitching. So after you have done that, what you are going to do now is to sew from this up. So make sure you stitch from this up down to the bottom, just like this. Make sure you place it like this, and sew from this up, from your up here, from your up down to this end, and at this other side you go ahead to sew from the up down to this down. But this other side will be tricky for you to sew, so make sure you take your time to sew it. Don't stretch your lining when sewing this, so it does not go more than the way it should go when sewing this other side. So that is what I'm going to do for my front, and for my back I'm also going to do the same thing the way I showed you. For the front, I'm also going, because I also top stitch both sides for my back, I'm also going to sew from this up. I'm also going to sew from this up down to the from up to the down at this other side. So let me go ahead to do all those parts, then come back to tell you what to do next. Okay, so after stitching the side, I have stitched my side and I turn it inside out, so you can see how it looks then. After turning it inside out, I went on to stitch the waist part of it. I stitch it to the end to hold it with both the line and the fabrics together. So I did the same on this part, and the same thing at the front part. So after holding them together, what I'm going to do now is to iron it. So let me go ahead to iron them and come back to show you. So I have gone ahead to iron it. There is something I want to tell you for those that do not know how to iron very neat like this. At least this will help you when ironing your side, because this side is very important for the neatness, and it makes you to get your accurate iron when ironing. Make sure you use your hand like this to bring out anything that is inside. Sometimes it goes in like this. After sewing, it goes in like this. Make sure you use your hand to bring it out. Then make sure everything is in place. Make sure they are all equal, in equal shape before you press your iron down to the end. Do the same for all the sides. At least that will come out very neat like this, so you can see how it looks like. So make sure you iron both in and out of your fabric. And I have the crease line. So this crease line, which you can see me how I was able to get it, was how I showed you earlier on how to fold your darts like this and press with your iron. So after doing that, I got this crease line. So I also did the same for the other side. As you can see, there is a crease line here because I folded it in. And for my front, my center front, I folded it like this and iron. I went on to iron, and I also put my crease line at the center piece of my front. So you can see a crease line there. This is what I need from the opening of my center front. So don't worry, we are coming to that. So make sure you fold it equally and place it at that point, then you iron. If you want it to be at the side, make sure you can follow your darts. You can follow your darts and iron if it's this crease line. If you want to put it at the side, that is if you want it to be at the side. But what I'm making for is for the center front. So I have done that, and what I'm going to do next is I will go ahead to sew my darts the way I showed you. 6 inches is the length, 6 inches is the length which I'm going to sew. So I will go ahead to sew my darts all the way from this part, just like this. After it is unfold like this for my dart, 0.5 all the way to 6 inches. So 0.5 all the way to 6 inches. That's what I'm going to do. So it's like this at every other dot which I have. Then I'll iron it, go ahead to iron it and come back to show you on the next step to take. I've done the ironing of my darts, and what I did now is to place my front on my back just like this. So I want to mark out my zipper allowance, and it is always advisable for you to start your marking at the right hand part where I'm going to stitch. So if I'm placing this on my machine, I'm definitely going to place it like this and sew. So that is how you mark, so you'll be able to get your accurate line for what you are doing. So after getting that, what I'm going to do now is to get my butt curve to mark out my zip line, my zipper allowance. So you can see what I'm doing. So what I'm getting at is from my waist to my hip now. What I'm doing here now is to increase here by 0.5 inch. I'm increasing here by 0.5 inch so the board can sit with that space which I have there. So from here to my knee will be 9 inches. So I'll just connect this down to this point. So from my waist to my hip is 19. That's what I have here. So just connect it from here like this, lift up this point just like this. So you can see what I have. And from here it's going to go straight down. So here it's going to go from here, it's going to go straight down, just follow my shape. So if I take this out now, you will see my line which I already have that has been marked out. So I'm going to sew from this top to the bottom, then I'll come back to show you on what we are going to do. Don't worry, I will soon finish this. It will soon be over. Let me go ahead to do that. Gone ahead to sew it close, and I went on to iron it as well. Iron both back and front for everything to be neat and nice. So I have done this, so I will keep this aside, then over to my front. So for my front now, let me go on and get my white piece, then I'll come back to you to make things easier. So I have gone ahead to cut out my lining, and I want to show you that I first of all gum my satin before cutting out anything I need with both my ruler and my pencil for everything to be straight. So what I have here, this aside, what I have here now is 4.5 by width, 4.5 by width and 25 by length. That is what I have for what I'm going to use for my front right here. So for my front now, what I need now, I'm going to mark at the wrong part, which is the inner part of my front. And what I'm going to mark now is I'm going to cross check where I want my length to stop for my slit, where I want the length of my slit to stop. So this is I don't want it to be too up or too down. So I'm supposed to, let me make use of 19 inches. But it is advisable for you to take the measurement from your client for your client to decide where she wants it to stop. So I'm making use of 19. So here is my 19 for my mark, which I'm going to use now. And my strap, which I already have here, is 25, so it is enough. And from this point, for your top, what you are going to get from this point is 2 inches. Let me say yours is going to be longer with this by 2 inches. It's going to be longer with this by 2 inches. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to fold 0.5 inch in, 0.5 inch in, and 0.5 inch at the top here. Then I'll come back to show you on what to do next. To brief you, so I went on to fold it as I told you, 0.5 at both sides, but this up 0.5. So after folding, I used my hemming gum. As you can see, I folded my to open up my hemming gum up to this length, and I cut it into, I slit it into, so you can see this is the width of what I use after slitting it into two. This is the width of what I have. So I put it inside of this after folding my 0.5, put that half inside of it up to this end, then I seal it. So you can see now this is not coming out. That was the same way I did for this other part, and at this up as well I did the same thing. After folding it, I put my hemming gum and I press it, and make sure you use water to do that so that it sinks in very well. So after that, I went on to fold this equally and iron so that I will be able to get my crease line. So I have my crease line right here up to the length of this down. So I'll keep this aside. So over to my front as well. So this is my crease line. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to run a straight stitch from this point which I have here, which my slit is going to stop. I'm going to run it down to the end of this part. So let me go ahead to do that before coming back to show you on the next step to take. Okay, so I have gone ahead to sew it all the way to this up, so you can see what I have here. So what I'm going to do next now, my crease line is still showing at my front. What I'm going to do next now is to place this right side facing the wrong side of this, because we are still going to turn it out. So I'm going to place it like this, and leaving from this my point which I have here, I'm going to leave 2 inches right from this where it stops. I'm going to leave 2 inches from there. So what I'm going to do now is to turn it. You can go ahead to pin it, or you can go ahead to sew following it. Make sure you are sewing about 0.2 inch away from your crease line, because you are going to sew at both sides. 0.3 inches or 0.2 inches, as closer as possible. At least do not cut your seam open, because I'm going to trim it out after everything. So what I'm going to do now is to sew it. I'm going to use a constructing thread for it to be clear enough for it to sew. I hope it does not show after doing that. So I'm going to sew from here down to my 19 inches which I have at this top here. I'm going to use a constructing thread to do that to show you. I'm going to sew it in double chain. I'm going to sew it first and later sew it again so that you can see. I'm going to sew it in second fold sewing, to sew with and hemming on for you to see what I will get. So this was what I was telling you. So I went on to stitch my fabric first. I stitch it down to this point, so you can see what I have there. I run my stitch from this end down to this point here. Then from here I take it down, so you can see the distance which I have. It is very close to my crease line. So you can see my crease line here. You can see my crease line here, and you can see my stitch at this part. So after sewing my first stitch on my satin down to this end, from this end down to this other end, and I went on to put my hemming gum. So my hemming gum has a little space which I just place it, so you can see the full part of my hemming gum at this side. So my hemming gum started from this crease line down to this part. So on this line which I sewed before, that was the same place I placed my hemming gum on, and sew it on my hemming gum down till this end. Then from this other part again, I place the same hemming gum at this other side, then sew it down to this end. Why I did that? Because when ironing, I want my hemming gum to be able to stick my satin to the fabric, so it does not move to give me an inconvenience when sewing it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to slit it open. Please make sure you don't cut your thread when slitting this. I'm going to slit it to this end. Then I will go on to turn it and iron for it. Then I'll come back to show you how it looks. Okay, so I have gone ahead to sew it as I told you, and I slit it. I went on to iron it as well as I told you. So this is what I have at this end. So what I'm going to do now is to cut it like this. So I'll cut it like this and cut it as well like this. So after cutting it like that, what you are going to do next is to put this in. Fold this in. Make sure it goes inside. Just like this. Make sure it goes inside like this. So after putting it inside like this, what you are going to do is to iron it to make sure everything is straight. And you can still put your hemming, or you can put your hemming gum before you iron to make sure everything is straight. Then what you are going to do next is to sew. Don't sew here so it does not look rough. Just go ahead to sew from here down to this, or from there down to this other end. Make sure you do the same thing at this other end, the way I did for this one. Fold it in and sew like that. So let me go on to do that and come back to show you the finished result of what I just got. So you can see what I told you. You can see how beautiful it is looking. So you can see how neat this down is. Don't sew it, just sew here. This sewing here will hold it together and it won't come out. So just do it like you can see how it looks. So what we are going to do next now I'm going to pin it to my back. I'm going to pin my front to my back just like this. Place it right side facing right side just like this. Then pin from this up. I'm going to pin it down. Then I'll come back to you after doing that. So I have gone ahead to rule my lines as you can see. So how I was able to get it was to get my waist measurement from this end, to get my waist measurement from this end, and what I got divided by 2, place 1 there, place 1 there. My hip measurement from this end, what I got divided by 2, place 1 there, place 1 there. That is how I did the rest. I have several videos which I have showed you on how to do that calculation, so I don't want to stress you on that in this video. So what I'm going to do now, I'll go ahead now to sew it from the top to the bottom, both sides. Then if I sew this side from the top to the bottom, this side I'll start from here to the top. So I'll go ahead to join, then come back to show you and how to get your waistband. After joining both sides, go ahead to iron it just like this. You can see what I did. I spread it open and iron. I also did the same for this other side. So I'm going to turn it inside out, then iron it properly. So after I turn it inside out, I'm also going to iron it the same way I did for the other part, the inside. I'm going to spread it open like this and press it with my iron. So this is my side. I'm going to press it with my iron, do the same for this other side. Then I'll go over to the waistband. So this is my band. I've gone ahead to gum it with my paper gum, my hard paper gum. So what I have here for the width is 4 inches. I have 4 inches for my width here, and what I have for the length, I have my waist, my total waist measurement plus 5 inches. That is what I have for my length. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to fold this by 0.5. After folding it by 0.5, I'm still going to fold it again. After folding it again, I'm going to check my measurement if it is up to 1.5. So if it is up to 1.5 here, I will do up till the end the same 1.5. From this side starting to the end, I will do the same 1.5 after folding it by 0.5. So after getting my 1.5 at this spot, what I'm going to do at this other side will be lesser by at least 0.2 inches. 0.2 inch, it will be lesser by 0.2 inch at this other side. So let me go ahead to do that and come back to show you how it looks after doing it the way I just showed you now. So you can see I have gone ahead to do just that, so you can see what I have here. So you can see this is the lesser part, and this is my main band which I have here, 1.5 by inch. So this is what I have. My back is lesser than my main band. So you can see it right here. This is how it went through all till the end. So you can see what I have here. So what I'm going to do for my skirt now, don't forget to iron your skirt. I've already gone ahead to iron it, so it is looking very sharp and beautiful. So what I'm going to do for my skirt now, I'm going to rip my zipper part off like this. Then at my wrong part, I'm going to use this lesser part of my belt which I folded in. And make sure this your lesser part is up to 0.5 inch. It is not lesser and it should not be more, and it should not be lesser. It should be 0.5 inch. So what I'm going to do now is to place my 0.5 inch. I'm going to leave a space of about 0.5 inch at this end, 0.5 or 1 inch. But 0.5 should be better so you don't get short at the end. So 0.5 inch at this side. Make sure you place your right side of your fabric to the left, to the wrong side of your skirt, just like this. Then you sew all the way to the end. After sewing all the way to the end, then I will come back to show you on how to place your elastic band. So I have gone ahead to sew it all the way to this end, and I turned it like this to sew from this up down to close here. So I just close there. In the process of closing here, yours should be like this when closing it. The way it was, this my main band is came out more than my inner part, or how will I say this? So this my, let me turn it over. So this is the process of turning this over. This my main band, which have the 1.5 here, is longer than this other one at the back. So after sewing it, it should have a little place for lapping. so that when you stitch on this, it will not affect or it will not come higher than this. So it should just sit like this. So let me show you what I have here again. If you take a look at this other side as well, you will see that my main band, which is this part, I did not sew my main band. I told you to sew the one that is lesser. So after sewing the lesser one, when sewing this, you should just place it the way it was when you iron the 1.5. So after sewing, my main band came out than the one I have for the lesser part. So when I turn this in like this, when I want to sew, it will close this one just like it will close it like this, and I will stitch on this. So that aside, so after that, what I'm going to do for my band now, I will make sure my elastic band will be able to sit like this from this other dart, back dart to this other center dart, which I sewed my 6 inches. My elastic band is going to elapse like this. So what I have for the distance between this from here to here and from here to here, it was 4 inches, which I reduced from here, but not all waist measurements happens like this. So that is why you need to use your elastic to cross check how it laps. So if you take a look now, this is my sewing allowance which I have here. Let me just use this as an example. So these are my dart allowance which I have there, and if you look at my elastic, you can see how it looks at this part. So you can see, so if I shrink it, that's falling through, but if I open it now, you can see how it elapses like this without it being too expanding. So what I'm going to do now, at this my smaller part which I sewed at this other one, I'm going to stitch here. I'm going to stitch it here. Make sure it comes out from this your line by 0.3 inches. Then you stitch it here. Then come over to this other one. Then stitch it there. After you have stitched it like that, what you are going to do now, by then you will have sewn this inside. After stitching it, you will place your fabric like this. Place it on it like this. By then you will stretch it when doing this. So you sew from this end. So when you clip it with your machine, I'm not going to show you how to do it, so I'm trying to make sure you understand what I'm trying to say. So by then it will be like this. You close it up like this. Then you clip it with your machine. Then make sure you are able to drag this other part of your elastic to this other end. Then you sew on it while your elastic is already being stretched. You sew on it to that end. So let me go ahead to do the both sides and come back to show you what I was trying to say, if you will understand better. So this is what I was trying to show you guys. So I have gone ahead to sew it. So when sewing it, I started sewing from this one. So I started sewing from this one, sewed all the way, and I stretched my elastic when sewing, sew it up till this end. Then I went on to stretch my band, then continue my sewing from this end. So you can see my thread when starting. So I continued my sewing from this end again, and I stretched my elastic and stopped at this other end as well. So you can see what I have, so you can see the result of it. So after doing that, what I'm going to do next now is to close here just like this. So I will go now and close it up till the end. So when closing here, you see stretch your elastic so everything will fall in place. Go ahead and sew. Take your time to do this. Sew it so you will have a good finish. Neat work is the key. That is our target here. So go ahead to sew all till the end. So that's what I'm going to do now. Sew to the end, and I'll come and show you how your band is. It is very easy, simple as ABC. Okay, so I have gone ahead to sew what I told you, so you can see what I have with my band. So I believe by now you should know how to fix your zip. So just go ahead to fix the zip, because I'm not going to show you on how to do that. Just go ahead, use any way you know how to fix. I also have a video on how to fix your zip on your blouse. You can use that strategy in fixing this, starting your zip from the down, so then the other side, so downward. So you can use that strategy to fix this zip as well. So I really appreciate you guys for staying till this time. If you have stayed till this time, please comment by saying hi, and appreciate. Give the video a thumbs up if you know it has been helpful to you. Please I really need your thumbs up. I really need your comments. And please share to your friends to also come and learn. So I really appreciate you guys, so you can see what we got after everything. So please take good care of yourself. Make sure you are okay. You should look healthy. You should exercise to stay healthy. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Bye. Stay safe and remain blessed.